2020 was a year that took a lot from everyone. But in the interest of being a channel for musicians, I'm going to focus on what that's done in particular for people in the industry. And in the interest of not talking about something I don't really have the knowledge or the authority to be talking on, I'm mainly going to be focusing on men, as the clickbaity title suggests. Last year, and for who knows how much longer, 2020 pushed a big pause button on the dreams and aspirations of those in the music industry. Performing artists, roadies and crew, event organisers and many more in the industry have been reduced or without work for an excessive amount of time. That pause has meant that so many have suffered a great loss. It's meant that so many have had to move on to welfare or into completely different industries to survive. Now, to some of you watching who are part of the industry, this explanation will come as no surprise. But to summarise a little bit about what that feels like for so many, we as people who exist in the creative industry have worked so hard for so long trying to make a career or trying to express ourselves in an industry that's so hard to get ahead in. That after years, decades for some, we've had the rug pulled out from underneath us. Personally, when I think about what it's been like to get ahead in my band, it has been near insurmountable levels of sacrifice, determination, isolation, and fear. As someone striving in the industry, you not only battle your own demons, fighting yourself to get out of your own way, but oftentimes the opinions of those around you. Your teachers, your friends, your parents, your lovers. It takes a special kind of insanity to try and get ahead in the music industry. And for those of us that COVID hit hardest, are those of us who fought against these obstacles the longest. 2020 was a year for all those incessant voices to finally claw their way back into our lives. The self-doubt, the shame of financial loss, the isolation that we all shared, and a myriad of other trials. It has come to my attention that we as a community will be forced to reckon with the events of last year for some time to come. I held out hope for a long time that the events of last year would be something that would come and go quite quickly. But as I ignored the elephant in the room, it grew to an unmanageable size. When I finally realised just what pressing that pause button would do to my psyche, it was already too late. I and those closest to me are struggling. We are tired and the days have lost their colour. While mindsets like these thankfully come and go, I think it's important to acknowledge. Because when we look at the elephant in the room, stare at it directly in the eyes, it quickly becomes a lot smaller. When we have the right tools to face our demons, we are empowered. And when we're empowered, the grey leaves and the colour returns. I believe that more needs to be done to destigmatise mental health, so that there's no shame in being overwhelmed. Sometimes it all feels insurmountable. And to be honest, I don't know, it very well could be. But if you had the chance to change that, wouldn't you want to try? I've wanted to make this episode for quite a while now, but I've been quite reluctant in making sure I was providing the right information. Poor mental health advice, as I'm sure many of you are aware, can be more detrimental than what it's worth. I've spoken with 2 psychologists and a psychiatrist about what can be done, and when you're speaking with someone who's struggling, the best thing you can do is listen. Really listen. Try and understand their experience and try not to give any advice, at least at first or just not at all. Most of the time we just need to be heard. If you're suffering a downturn in your own mental health, there's resources available and I implore you to seek them out. I put the links in the description below. It genuinely concerns me how many of my male friends won't seek professional advice when their mental health slips out of control. I've seen friends descend into depths I didn't know were possible, all because they were hurting and unable to deal with their emotions. I have done the same and I have suffered and I have caused suffering unduly. But by some luck and a lot of anguish, I was able to reach out and seek professional help. And I've done so many times. It has saved my life and it's given my life back its colour time and time again. As men, we try to keep it together because that's our perceived strength. The truth is, we are strong. And to be a man, you must be brave. And there is nothing braver than facing your demons and taking steps to relieve some of the hold they have on your life. I know some of us, myself included, think that we're keeping it together for the other people in our life, our friends, our lovers, our bandmates, but oftentimes we just don't realise just how much we're leaning on them, letting our pain soak into their lives. Not acknowledging or dealing with your mental health issues doesn't do anyone in your life any favours. The reason that there's so many books and there's so much information on how to deal with mental health is because that in reality it's actually quite an individual struggle. And what works for me may not work for you. What's written in a book is what works for the author, and everything else is just a maybe. Your first step should really just be trying to focus on things that bring you joy. For some that's going to the gym, for some it's going for a walk, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's meditation. For others it might be a hobby, maybe even something incredibly nerdy. There is a group of men in the heavy music industry where every week they get together and play a game of Magic the Gathering from 10 AM until the last man standing, and they all just hang out talking about their life and their struggles. We're in this industry because we share something in common, and there's more than likely people out there that share your struggles, but also share a common interest. Something as simple as a day of playing cards can spark so much joy. So the question is, What brings you joy? We were so used to going to shows to see our friends that we've kind of forgotten what that's like. It's now time to find things that bring you joy, so that taking further steps like seeing a professional might just be that little bit easier. It is not a weakness to struggle, it's not a failure to buckle under the pressure of your own mind. It will be your strength that's required to pull yourself from the dark, to turn the candle into a raging fire once again. Seeking professional help, it's just a tool, one that you must utilize successfully. Your happiness is yours for the taking. So, as the title of the video suggests, be a man, treat yourself like somebody you care about, and seek professional help if it all gets too much. Thanks for watching. I hope this was in some way helpful. And to all those in the industry right now, good luck and keep the flame alive.